रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव दारुण श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भय दारुण नवकंज लोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंज चारुण कंदर्पगणित अमित छविन नील नीरज सुंदरम पटपीतमानं तडितरुचि शुचि नौमि जनकसुतावर श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम श्री श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम् श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भज मन हरण भव भय दारुणम् नव कंज लोचन कंज मुख कर कंज पद कंजारुणम् कंदर्पगणित अमित
I'm presuming it's audible. That's good. Better.
What's in our hands and what's in God's hands. And somehow there was this kind of a confusion, that's what's in my scope and what's in God's.
Yeah.
So probably that is what the mind was also trying to tell me, that this much is yours, and this much is God's. And somewhere that despondency which I was talking about, that you're helpless also at times, that it's absolutely at his mercy. So thank you so much for clarifying that, Father.
Yeah.
Really grateful to you. Thank you.
Welcome. Yes.
So after last satsang, I think you'd said, or during satsang, you said, okay, for the next 2 days, you have to stay in this satsang vibe, which
Yeah.
like I always tried to do.
Yeah.
But since I haven't been here for a while, I was like, okay, now I'm just gonna like do it and it's gonna be good. And this might be like a really simple question and you've probably addressed it, but when it comes to like the body being physically ill or like going through like hormonal fluctuations and stuff like that, I find it like impossible to like really be able to stay in that place. So how do you, when you went through like your illness and stuff, like how did you combat that? I don't know.
It's difficult. It's difficult, but we just, as much as possible, we have to do. As much as possible to remember that He's with us, that there is a greater reality than uh, the phenomenal world that we experience, and most importantly, not given to the narrative of the thoughts, the story of the thoughts. So when we keep that out and we allow it to come and go, the way to keep it out is not to try and stop it and repress it, but to just allow it to come and go. Then we naturally find ourselves gravitating to His presence in our heart. So what is the satsang vibe? We were saying that I noticed that the end of satsang feels different than the beginning of satsang. So the end of satsang feels like everybody is, in a deeper place, in a higher vibration. And then it feels like when we meet the next time, it feels like we have to bring it back to that level. But it doesn't have to be like that. It can be an exponential deepening, exponential growth in our living in God's presence, our love for God, in recognition of our truth. If throughout our day, the attempt is to try and be the same way. So just to make it simpler, when the body is in pain, under attack, we just have to remember not to give in to the frustrated narrative of the mind and to try and remain as much as possible empty and in God's presence. That's all we can do. And then the satsang vibe is not a benchmark that you use, that your mind can use to oppress you. That is not the intention. But I'm just saying that it's simpler. Just stay like you're here, because there's nothing special about here except that you allow yourself to feel God's presence. So allow yourself to feel God's presence even when you're not in the satsang hall, as much as you remember to. Yeah?
I definitely would. It sounds really stupid, but it's like I just wish I was born in general. Like that story is so strong, especially when it's like so much pain and only because of your physiology. So definitely just have to let that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being so open and honest about it. Maybe Radha wants to, we spoke about something similar. You want to say something on that? And it's not because I want to shy away from the topic.
I was just talking to him yesterday, actually. So for me, it is I'm close to the menopausal age, so it's a lot of like the hormonal fluctuations, like you were saying. And I was just like telling him I feel it's harder. Like he says, don't get angry or irritated, and especially during those times, I find it very difficult to not be angry or irritated. Mm, but I found after talking to him, I found, and I felt before also that I'm
nothing can actually stop me from being in God, you know. And it can seem harder. And I said, like, maybe God's just made it harder for women to be in God. No, it was all an excuse I felt for myself. I feel like I can stay in God no matter what's coming in this. It's hard for sure. I've gone through a lot of physical illness, a lot. And it's definitely very hard when the body is vulnerable. I have found that the mind is really waiting to pounce and I've heard that from most of the Sangha members, like it's very difficult, but also that I can still be with God and feel everything completely. Like for you, it's pain. I had not experienced pain, but you don't have to shy away from that experience. And I can be with God and experience it more fully, actually, than when I'm here. It's more of a struggle somehow. Like when I'm here and I'm trying to run away from it, basically. But when you are in God, then you're with it. With reduce, can't see. Pain might not reduce, but I don't know what else to say. The main thing is we can still be with God. How is the question, Father? Just don't go with the narratives. That's all. So that will not reduce the experiencing of the body sensations. But the narratives makes it actually much worse than it is. Father asked me, is anything too much for this moment? And it's never too much. It's only the narrative that makes it like, why? So I've gone through a chronic illness. So why? It's been going on for so long. I don't want to live with this anymore. And all that actually, when I'm fatigued, that experience is not unbearable. It's the narrative that makes it like, why so long? Or the continuity of it, why it's been going on for so long. But in that moment, it's not unbearable actually. But if I buy the narrative that it's too, why me, and other psychological effects of it, that makes it all like a whole burdensome package. But yeah.
Somebody else wanted. Oh. So you said that your path is mainly self-inquiry. The practice is mainly self-inquiry. So when the mind offers you these compelling seeming ideas, you're ever able to ask that who is this? Who is suffering, having to suffer through this? Yeah.
Like, or just for the sake of asking who's experiencing this pain, I'll just be like, there's nobody here. So
It's trying to get to the solution, trying to feel better quickly. We feel like we want to use the conclusion to feel better as the me, rather than really explore the nature of the me at that moment. But keep at it, and then I'm happy to hear. Thank you. No.
The mind really doesn't want to experience, it doesn't want us to just be with it. And in that not wanting to be with it, you suffer it actually. Like she's saying, she doesn't want, like almost like the inquiry, like you want a solution for the seeming problem, or I wanted a solution for my fatigue. Like I don't want to experience, I can listen to a bhajan, but I don't want to just feel it. Like the bhajan can still like make you feel like you're with God and not experiencing the sensations. But to be with it, raw, in itself. The mind really avoids that pain or that bodily discomfort. So
That's why it's ironical, that many people talk about like it's a spiritual bypassing, no? And it can sound like what we are saying in satsang is a bypassing of what is being felt. But actually it is a pure acceptance, a radical openness towards whatever is arising in the moment, but without needing to frame it into a narrative of an individual whose existence we can't really find in the first place. So we may find that the body is felt through sensations and felt through the experience of pain. But where is the me whose body this is? No? You say, my body is not doing so well, or my body is in pain. But who is this one who says, my body is in pain? The locus of identification is the body itself. So when the question is sincerely asked, who observes the sensations of pain in this body? It is not to come to a denial of the pain, but it is to come to an acceptance of the pain. And you notice that in the acceptance, moment to moment acceptance, empty of past and empty of worry about the future, in the moment, mostly, I found that it's quite manageable. I won't say it's always sweet and pleasurable, but it's always manageable. Shivang, sorry. Welcome to you.
So I just on same line, I was just saying that man and woman both have their own set of obstacles, if I say. For men, it is even when they see something is there to surrender, or it's fine. Their mindset is like that. Arrogance and pride do not allow them to do that. For feminine, it's much more easier to do.
We have a bit of a debate.
Huh? No, because I was remembering one story, maybe at Buddha's time. So when bhikshus were seeing that, bhikshunis were able to connect with Buddha so effortlessly, like having tears in their eyes and simply experientially connecting with Buddha. So they were getting envy of this situation to that much extent that in next life they came as a girl, but they couldn't finish their job in that previous life, and they were a bhikshu itself. So seeing this, okay, it's so beautiful. So easily they are able to connect with Buddha bhikshunis.
Yes. Many boys have made the same complaint in satsang, that your daughters, they come and tell you everything, we just keep quiet. And thank you.
This on the theme of this body changes and things that it's actually it's there for everyone, with the more or less but bad days and good days with the body in different ways. And I feel like when I've gone through very quite bad days recently, that I thanked myself that I gave time when I was okay.
Yes.
Because that time gave me the wherewithal to go through when I was not okay.
Exactly.
And if I was started when I'm not okay, saying Ram, 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 I don't think it has any thing. And similarly, also, I feel like all the young people sitting here are blessed, because the youth is extremely a good time for the body. And so, when people start when they're very old, it's so much harder because you need the best time. It's like you have to give it prime time. That
It's a very good point. It's a very good point, because everyone feels that we can come to satsang, collect knowledge, and then apply it in bad times. It doesn't happen like that. The point of bringing ourselves into focus prayer, focus inquiry every day is so that we get the practice so that we can apply it in times when they are bad. But if we hope that I'll be able to remain empty when there's turmoil everywhere outside me, inside me, then that's mostly a losing proposition. Not that we must not try in those times. Even in those times, any time is a good time to start. So we must try in those times. But if we have practice when times are good, you see, then to apply it when times are bad is easier. So we must, you're absolutely right, we must apply it every day, independent of what the situation is. If we are on this spiritual journey, and many people in the world call themselves spiritual without realizing that it's about the spirit being the Atma, you see. So it's like going to a restaurant but forgetting to eat. When you are in spirituality, more in terms of the world, instead of the emphasis being on God and God's presence being the Atma, the spirit. So to remain in the light of spirit when times are very difficult, to just jump into the light of spirit seems very, very, very challenging. That is why the sages have called it practice. So we have to practice doing it. And we are okay to accept that about most things in the world. I keep taking this weight training example. So if somebody said to you, deadlift 150 kgs, say, I can't do it. So why can't you do it? Because I haven't practiced. No? So in the same way, especially in Advaita Vedanta, what happens is most people feel like when times are bad, we'll be willing to or open to accepting the fact that it's not happening to me. There is no such individual me, and I am that. It's when times are bad. But when times are good, I can be the enjoyer of my activities and the fruits of my actions. I can be the doer. I can be the experiencer. But when times are bad, then I'll quickly be able to switch to Tvam Karta, Tvam Bhokta. You are the doer, you are the experiencer. Doesn't happen that way. So we have to apply it every day. We have to be empty of the 3D ego, of duality, desire, and doership every day. And when we practice for at least some focus period every day, then that builds a lot of that spiritual muscle to be able to do it when times are bad. So when are times bad? One is the phenomenal experience of bad time. Body is in pain, something happening to a family member, something happened to job situation, something happening to our meaning of life getting shaken up. These are the four main things. So, but do the appearance of those events in themselves make them bad times? So suppose that something is really shaking up in the outer experience of this world. can that inherently in itself make us suffer? This is worth looking at, because that's what we presume, that I am suffering because this happened outside me. I am suffering because this is the condition of my body, or I am suffering because of my money situation. Something. Now tell me what anything here can make us scratch on that which is witnessing all of this play. Can it? Then to make us believe that we are the object which is going through the suffering, what do we have to do? Buy into the story of the non-existent me. Believe in the narrative of the mind which takes us away from just being in this moment. And just being sounds like a self-help thing, but it's not. Because being is the presence of God. I amness is the presence of God. Take the mic. Yeah. Yes. I just, give it to Zara. In the meanwhile, I'll just say something that Anandmay Ma's pointer that Maya is only Main Aya, is actually very, very helpful. So even in the experience of the outer world, we are not caught up in Maya till the me comes, till Main Aya. Now, if you were to explore how this me seems to come, like right now, where's the me? Who are you right now? Right now, in this moment, you don't even know your name. You have to think for a second. Give me a second. Stop clicking like that, so that I can tell you who I am. You see? So therefore, then that name must not be original to you. If it goes away like that, just in the freshness of the moment, if it vanishes, then it cannot be original to you. No? Now, in this very moment, do the sensations of the body define your boundary? No, they're just experienced just like every other sensation is experienced. You see, so it doesn't define your boundary. So then how does the me come? You see? So if you can see that you have to work hard to suffer, it changes things. You see? So what is the hard work you have to do? You see, right now, you are empty of any identification. That's God's gift to us, that every moment you are empty. You see? So in Satsang, you hear open and empty. The Buddhist said, be empty. The Vedantins say remain as the witness. All that happens naturally. Don't have to do any of that. Maya has told us, Maya is Maya. You see, that means it's not here. It is Aya. You see, it comes when the me comes. You see, now how does the me come? It comes. So thought comes. So in the coming of thought, has the me come? And when we say thought has come, we are saying that attention has gone to a thought. Otherwise, we could not report on the coming, right? So we're getting into the mechanics of it after many days. But just we'll indulge in this for a moment or two. So how can we report that the thought came? That means that my attention was on the thought. You see? Now, in the attention going to the thought, is there already identification as a separate individual, as a separate entity? It's not yet there. Because besides our attention, we also have the power of belief, which is to give it truth value. You see? So if we remain just empty of that, then does the me come? Cannot come. So does that mean that Maya has not come? Yeah. Yes. And that is freedom. No? That is the freedom, yeah. That is the freedom, because to be in the waking state, in the apparent midst of this world, and yet to be Maya Rahit, to be free from Maya, is freedom, is to be with God. Till the me has not come, Maya has not come. Although in the waking state, the world is here. You see, that's why the sages live in the appearance of Maya and yet are free from Maya. You see? So, how to come to that emptiness? That is what we discuss in Satsang, how to remain empty, either through inquiry or through chanting or through any method from any tradition. So that in remaining free from Maya, then we belong, our heart belongs to the beloved, to God. Let's go back. Okay. When they are in remembrance and praise of God, then yes. Because otherwise, we feel like it can't be, there has to be some boundary, and we feel like we'll be able to discriminate between our practical thoughts, which seem to be helpful in the world, and our psychological thoughts, which create this identity and get us into that trap. But if you experiment with this, you will see that all the intelligence that you need to operate in this world, including the sharing of words in satsang, you are able to notice that they are not being thought about and spoken. It is just that the mouth has been handed over to the intelligence of the heart, and the heart is using this communication tool to get the words out. So we only feel that there must be a helpful aspect of the mind because we don't know the ability of the heart yet. Because we feel that Atma Gyan, which comes from the heart, is only about the reality of what we are, not about how to navigate in the world. You see? But actually, to be in the heart gets us in touch with the true mode of knowledge, which helps us, which guides us about every step in the world, as well as who we really are. You see? So it's like replacing, you may not, you're too young, but when I was young, there was a operating system on computers called DOS, disk operating system. So there was no user interface over there. You would just have to type the command. You see? So then when these user interfaces came, the graphical user interfaces, we felt a bit like, how do we do this? We just want to type and get our work done. You see? But basically, from moving from head to heart is an upgrading of our operating system. You see? Like you have these iOS upgrades that come, right? So you go to a higher level of intelligence, hopefully. So in the same way, we move away from a very limited, very primitive me here, me want, me don't want type, very caveman type thinking, which is all that our ego and mind is made up of, into a much more nuanced, loving, kind, compassionate, faithful, patient, grateful mode of living through living in the heart. So we don't lose anything of value. But the question then is, because we are so used to the mind, is there anything that is safe for us to keep in the mind? So let's not worry about even helpful for a moment. What is safe to keep in the mind? God's name, praising God, loving God, anything to do centered on God is safe to keep in the mind. But don't worry, you won't be lost. We feel that moving from head to heart will be lost, because how will I run my practical life? You see, firstly, there is no such distinction between practical life and spiritual life, but that spirit itself is the light of this whole universe. So we must never feel that that spirit can't guide us, that Atma can't guide us into what to do with the world. So all that we lose is our burden. No, please take your time. Yes. Everybody got interested when they heard Matrix. अभी बोलो The previous question was not.
So when I asked the previous question, I fully believe and have experienced that you can be a person in like the day-to-day matrix and function from intuition without thought. And so that's why I was thinking like, oh, so then maybe we can just like shun all thoughts, because then, if I can just live without thought, then they're bad. But then when you said that only thoughts of God are safe to keep, it makes sense, because it's like when Neo's in the Matrix, Trinity and like the people who are outside of it had to enter the Matrix to take him out. And so those God thoughts are probably like those
Exactly.
guys coming in and taking you out of the Matrix, which is a
Very
fun way
good
to
way of
think
looking.
about.
Yeah. Very nice. No, there's a Zoom going on, so it's mostly for them.
Just to add to what she said, I think the thoughts of God actually arise from the heart center, and therefore they become useful, and every other thought comes from the external world, right?
Wife first or husband?
So, Father, like, I know that I don't have to believe the thought, but when I actually try to do it, it feels very hard, because if I dodge, like, if I don't believe one thought, the mind gives back another thought. Like, for example, prideful thought that I was able to do it. I was not able to not believe the thought. or some other stuff like, am I doing it right? Or so I feel that it goes in a loop, like
Recursion.
recursion.
It's like a recursion.
Yes.
It's a recursive loop.
Yes.
Okay, try now. Let everything come and go.
I feel like I'm losing something, or
Let that, is that a thought?
yes.
Okay. Keep telling me the thoughts that are coming. Or if you like, keep telling me the thoughts which are compelling.
I'm feeling nervous.
Okay. Just let it go. If you can't let it go, then tell me.
It says, now I'm doing it, later I will not be able to do it.
Correct. So later we'll see later. Let it go.
I don't know what's happening.
Stuck in something or it's all going?
I don't know. It's a thought, but I don't know if I'm believing it or not.
So what is the practice that you're using on a daily basis?
ADS prayer.
Okay. So during that time, is there a lot of mental operation?
Not when I start in the morning, yes, for the first mala, then it slows down a bit, but not every day is that way.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's very shan, but sometimes it's fully active.
Yes. Yes. And how is the rest of the day?
Rest of the day is like a mostly I struggle like something I know I have to do it, but not able to do it. So I keep like falling, coming, coming back. Then I keep remembering satsang words and what you said. I did it. Have to be present to the presence. And what Ma says that we'll focus only on words of the prayer. So these 3, 4 guidance help me throughout the day, but
Yes.
I don't know if I'm able to do it.
Don't worry about being able to do it. No, we are not going to become immediately the power lifters who can lift a lot of weight. So, but to go through the difficulty, first time you lift weights, I don't know why I'm talking about it. I haven't lifted weights for some time, but it's not easy, and we don't expect it to be. And that's what I'm saying, that in spirituality, the Buddha has told us that we can transcend an army of 1,000 people, but the same one can't transcend their mind. So it's the most difficult endeavor, you see. So don't expect it to be easy, firstly. And value the fact that you're trying every day to work on it, you see. So let me ask you, what did you study? CA, no?
Yes.
So when you started your first year, BCom or BS Finance or whatever the degree was, then did you say first day may I'll write the CA exam?
I didn't even believe I could do it.
Exactly. And then after first year, did you feel like you can write the exam?
No, one by one.
Slowly we get to that point. So unfortunately, in the modern marketing of spirituality, we've come into this belief that we can just instantly get this. So that is very rare. That is very, very rare. And here even to this point, if I was not to pray or inquire, then I feel like I would be trapped by Maya in a single day. So it's very important for us to keep at it. And as much as possible, deepen in your faith, deepen in your love for God. You see? Now, what you have to do to, I may give the instruction, but you may say, so how do I deepen my faith and deepen in my love for God? You see? So it is just like keep the intention to love Him more, and that intention will grow into a flowering of that love in your heart. You see? But if your intention is to only do the practice better or make your life better because of the practice, you see, then that seems to be more of a struggle. You see? So it's almost an unfollowable instruction, but something may get seeded in your heart by remembering this, that it is about loving God more. It is not about a godless spirituality, which is very popular in today's world. Let's make God into some electromagnetic sort of construct, force field. You see? But if you start to love God as your beloved, or as father, or as mother, or as sister, or as master, or as best friend, you see, then that adds a lot of strength to our spirituality. Because you will see that as you take one step in that relationship of love towards Him, God's response comes with 100 times that strength. And it's only in the modern world that we have made God into like nature or some field or some unified field, you see, and not someone who we can love and receive love back from. You see? So it's so ironic that in the world today, all of us are searching for love, basically, and trying to find every mechanism to experience this love. But the very source of love, we have created a distance from. And a lot of that distance is because we have started to feel like in our modern thinking that God cannot be loved in that way and cannot love us back in that way because we think we know too much now. And this is not just for you, it's for everyone. But just like I'm so happy you remembered this pointer that how to be in the presence is to make yourself present to His presence. You see? So, but why are we doing it? Yeah? It's all right. To want a better day is not a bad thing. To want a peaceful life is not a bad thing. You see? But when you make it more and more about because you want to know Him more and love Him more, then these things will just come as the side byproducts of it. And you will not have that much even concern about it. You will just enjoy just being with Him. And you will marvel and wonder at the fact that how is He here with you? How is He here with all of us in such an intimate way, in such a beautiful way? Huh?
Can I say one more thing?
Please.
So there is this worry always that about this mental spirituality, and suppose I'm trying to love God, that I love Radha Krishna, I love Krishna, I love Jesus, but something in my mind says that, oh, you're just doing mentally, you're not actually
Your
loving.
mind says you're being mental.
Yes, kind of.
So first lose that from the mind. That's what I said. you can safely think as much as you want about God. Okay? You'll be fine.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Actually, Father, you answered the question. It was about, you were talking about, can any bad situation which looks outside can really trouble you? So I thought, then should I be neutral? But you guide it in a different, like more than that, and that um, that what I saw is that you said that there is no identity at that moment, and now I don't remember my question.
That's good. That's good. No problem. Very, very good.
I'm very grateful to you, Father, about this thought thing, because that's the guidance I'm trying to follow. Like,
Yeah.
whereas, because I just feel that I'm just getting stuck in my mind, and I wonder. Then you say, but no, you believing your thought, and I just feel that part gets skipped automatically. I'm just in my mind, but when I slow down, then I try to check.
It's very good. That's very good. Remember that one of the most oppressive forms of the mind is the spiritual mind. Yeah? So what do we call that? The checker guy. The checker guy has heard the words of Satsang. Is he? Yeah, okay, don't go to the mind. Your heart will give you the answer. God's light will give you the answer. So the mind itself wants to become the policeman of that. And that is very oppressive. You see? So it finds now as if, because when you hear the mind saying, don't believe your thought, yeah, this is what we hear in Satsang also. So we end up believing that thought about not believing the thought. You see? So the idea is not so much what we are doing in our head and what we are believing in our head, whether spiritual or not, but where are we actually living? Inwardly, where are we living? So it takes effort to live in the head. It takes effort to come here. But if you just leave it, you'll fall into the heart. That's why I told you that the first thing is to relax. You see? Because if you don't first relax, then all of this will become more oppressive. Like, I have to do this. I have to make sure I'm not thinking. I have to make sure. It's not like that at all. It's about changing your home, actually. You see? So changing your home by getting you to drop into the right place naturally. Not to get into any spiritual right or wrong in the head. You see? So I used to call this checker guy the arch nemesis. Arch nemesis, like the main enemy. Because it will use everything it hears in satsang. Even don't fall for the checker guy, it will check. Am I falling for the checker guy? I feel like I'm falling. You see, so there's no, in words, there's no escaping it. We just have to drop out of it. You see, I'm not interested in its conclusion about whether I'm spiritually right or wrong. You see, and I'm not interested in its conclusion about whether I'm interested or not. You see, so there's no end to that if we keep it there. So we just have to let it go. Just breathe it out. That itself is the end of suffering. We have never met anyone suffering without the mind. We met in pain, of course, But suffering is when we amplify the experience of pain. Going? The framing of that question had the answer. So, like there are two playgrounds. In one playground, you cannot be friends even with those in the spiritual garb. And the other playground is safe. You can just do whatever you want. You see? So the two playgrounds are the head and the heart. So if you're in the wrong place, then it doesn't matter how high sounding the words are. But if you're in the right place, then even the simplest words can bring the fragrance of God. That's why some of the greatest sages have been those who were illiterate. Like Nisargadatta Maharaj was illiterate. He was a beedi seller in Bombay. And yet his work, his words are the literally now the Bible of Advaita Vedanta. You see? It's not about how much conceptual understanding we have now. It's about whether we're living in the temple of the heart or we're living in the war zone of the head. And never devalue, not that I've gone to everyone, okay? So don't feel like I'm telling you that you're doing this. I'm saying to all of you, don't devalue the fact that God's presence is here. Maya is fundamentally a forgetting of God. But how are we not astounded every moment that God is with us? Why is our life not spent in that awe and wonder? I don't see much awe and wonder happening anywhere. Come on then. Is God here? Ramji is here or no? You see? Is it just andhvishwas, like blind belief? You see? When you initially come to satsang, you may have to just blindly believe what I'm saying. Oh, Ramji is here, okay. Now he's saying, so I better believe it, or something like that. You see? Now, but have we not all got at least one sliver, one slightest taste of this fact that there's a higher power which is met unperceivably when we are empty of the me? How can we, knowing this fact, get into a sort of weak lamentation?
I myself, like you were saying, God is here, and why is there no like that kind of an excitement that's always there.
Yeah.
It comes and goes, but it's like that. I'm hearing you, but that is not there. Why is it not there? Like, it's not like I'm lost in my mind also, but I'm looking at you, yet I don't know, it's like a lull, or what is it? What is this?
There's a few things at work. One is okay, so let's take a simple example. If somebody read my book for a few years, didn't know about Zoom Satsang, anything like that, you see, and suddenly found that they are right here in Bangalore and they can meet me and they can come to live Satsang. And this happened a few times. So then when they come, there's that initial excitement that I can't believe I'm here. My life is so happy. This is the biggest gift God could have given me. You see? First day. Then unfortunately, naam bade or darshan chote. So after a few weeks, it's normal. Just normal. So one is the same thing happens. We've sort of normalized the fact of God's here-ness. You see? The second thing is that at this point, at least, we've not been able to normalize that if he was here in the apparent perceptual way, so in the pratyaksh, that's why I always use this experiment. If Ramji appeared in front of your eyes, in your sensory field, then immediately we'll all be astounded and full of awe and full of love and gratitude and all of these things, right? Now, our life journey is about making what we know in the heart, which is beyond perception, more real for us than that which is known through our senses. You see? So faith is not blind belief, it's not andhvishwas. Faith is to rely more on what our heart is telling us, our Atma is telling us about what is real, than what our head and our senses are telling us about what is real. You see? So more and more as we grow in that faith, we will live every moment in that sense of awe that God is here. How blessed am I that the Lord of this universe and a trillion universes like this is right here in my heart. Remember that Maya's whole design, and it is Lord's design, that He has made it like this so that our love for Him is not cheap. So that we can't really say, but so that our love for Him is not cheap. You see? I keep taking that example of if my son calls me when he's really busy, then that feels like that is love. But if he calls me because I forced him, or because this ritual has to be done every day at this time, most of our lives become ritualistic like that with God. That it has to be done. I have to call Pa at 9 o'clock. No? Then does that really indicate love? No, it just indicates there's a rule that we are following. You see? So in this moment, can you all lose your self-consciousness and just meet God and let your reaction be based on that? No. Let's try again. Like, feel that He is appearing in front of you, whatever form of God you resonate with. Yeah. You see? But I just want to take this experiment further. Like, why are we unable to do that? Is it still in some like, yeah, must be, I don't really know, hoga, like that? Or is it that I'm scared of what people will think if I look so happy? Or what is it? What is it about? What is the so if I say for one moment, just have this experience that he is right here with you, isn't it? Is it? No, do that. Is it? Do that. Because in the world, we've got into this sort of posture of like that. You see? I don't know whether you're getting a sense of the. So, deepening in spirituality is how real do we take his presence to be? How literal do we take this fact of his reality to be? Otherwise, we still, no matter how spiritual we think we are, we are still going to think that we are a separate entity living in this vast universe and we have big trouble in our life. But do you care? No, for him, I'm allowed to ask him that. He's not applying peer pressure. I'm just saying that who do you, is there a aspect, a form of God that is really dear to your heart? Who is that? So if he was to appear right here in front of you right now, how would you be? You won't think of me, no? That's a very good point. But would there be like an expansion, a sense of letting go of the me is like we feel that expansive sort of love in our heart. No? You see? So in a way that because we have so much spirituality in the world today, we've normalized God is here. होंगे तो yeah. But what about my problem? And it's so strange that all of us want to be Advaitin, but we are still stuck in the phenomenal, including myself, where if the door opened and Ram walked in, all of us will like, wow. And not that we must not have that reaction. I'm just saying, but then is it not the same Ram who's in our heart, right here with us? In fact, waiting for us to turn to him. Is it not the same one? In fact, that one will just be a projection of this one. So this is the reason why when the sages told us Antarmukhi Sada Sukhi, the inward, the one who has turned inwards is always happy. Not just because it's an avoidance of the phenomenal world and therefore you can just be happy. Just run away from the world and you can be happy. No, because it is his presence which is right there. Okay, so he walked into the door. Where will you feel him? You won't feel him at the door, no? You still feel him in your heart. So he's right there in your heart. See? Yeah, correct. So that is called the hypnosis of Maya. Kabirji said Maya is the Mahatagini. She doesn't come to you and say, give me $1 million, no, to con you. She cons you by taking away the biggest treasure you have in your life. In that what you call the lull or the hypnosis. Oh, what about me? See? Oh, but my life, no money in the bank, no health in the body, no stability in relationship, no understanding of anything at all. Yeah, all these things can trouble us, but mainly they trouble us so we get involved in this stuff and forget about who is here. And yet in our lips, we all know, we all can say, I am that I am. God said, I am that I am. I am that is God itself. I am is God itself. I am aware even of that. I am the pure awareness itself. You see? But once we come to a conceptual, just be what do we just normalize it, no? We just normalize this, no? Huh? Okay. So deepening in spirituality, deepening in faith is when the reverse happens. When we are caught in the me, there's a restlessness to return to the true place. Initially, it may be that I come to insight and then I'm pulled back in the false. So that gets reversed more and more. So if I ask all of you, is God here right now? What will your lips say? Yes. So now, do you want this to just remain lip service? Or are you lying with your lips? Not lying with your lips. Although the yes was pretty meek, but still. So not lying with your lips, but living as if that fact is only lip service. Sorry, you had a question? We'll come back.
So the hypnosis can only last when I'm not looking at it in every moment. Like if I don't take it moment to moment, then the hypnosis feels like a hypnosis.
Yes. But even the hypnosis has to do a lot of work.
Which is to
By
pick up.
offering more additions to the narrative.
But if I take it in every moment, then it loses its power in a sense.
Of course. If you, like Bhaiji said that, I don't know the exact Hindi he spoke, but in his remembrance itself, the spell of Maya is broken. Just by remembering him, not even tasting his presence yet. You see, so it is actually Maya which has the more difficult job. But because our habit, our conditioning is so deeply involved in it, it seems that I have to do all the work every moment. And while it feels like that, we must do the work. And the work is simple. Right now, what is your source of truth?
Say again.
Right now, what is your source of truth?
Inside.
Where are you going to determine what is true?
Inside.
Yeah.
So, Father, my question is that the hypnosis feels like a drunk kind of hypnosis more when I don't take it like moment to moment, when the mind kind of tries to string up everything.
Yeah.
And does that make sense?
Yeah. It is, the hypnosis is very step by step. Yeah? Especially for those in satsang. Yeah? They'll say, oh, I'm not really liking Father today. No, it's not about me. I'm not, like, I don't feel like praying today, or I don't feel like inquiring today because this is happening. Then later in the day, some other construct. Then later by tomorrow, some other construct. In a week, you want nothing to do with spirituality.
So it's a very slippery
Especially
road,
this
right?
kind of spirituality which offers nothing to you, no? You see, other types of spirituality are not easy to leave because there's so much on offer for me. I will look better, I will feel better, my emotions will be better, my mind will be more productive, I will do better at work. Here, none of that is offered to you. Like, do you love God? You will love God more and more and more and more. How will that help you? It won't. In the outer life, it won't. It may even make it seem worse. You see? So then the mind is waiting to pounce at opportunities where it can make Maya feel like the only field of operation and the Atma's light feel like a conceptual, distant thing. You see? And when you're living in the Atma's light, then the appearance of the phenomenal world appears distant and lifeless. No, maybe not lifeless. It can feel very sweet actually, but not compelling to draw me in and get me to just focus on that constantly. And what is that? The locus of this is the notion of the me. As I'm
So the
astounded.
hypnosis can work in a way that you don't really realize that you're hypnotized.
That is why hypnosis, no. One who's hypnotized doesn't realize they're hypnotized. Yeah, that is why hypnosis. So once you're hypnotized, the one who hypnotized you says, jump up and down. You don't say, no, I'm hypnotized, I won't. You feel like that is my reality. I have to jump up and down.
So it's only grace that rescues us.
It's only grace that rescues us. And for a while, once that rescue hand has been given, it will feel like it is effort to hold that fingernail of God. You see? It will feel like that part I have to do, and it seems difficult. You see? Until it feels like that, we have to do it. Yeah. Yeah. It rescues it. Yeah. Yeah. What you taste in satsang, if your heart is meeting satsang, is a miniature replica of what your relationship with the Atma within is. You see? So that is why we get to taste that love, that fragrance within ourselves, and then we have a true north on our compass. But because without that, it can seem very difficult to find the true north. Because as the unperceivable light of the Atma is transforming our Antakarna, that process of transformation is not visible. 99% of it is not visible. Only 1% of the outpouring in the form of love, peace, and joy will be tasted in a felt way. But the rest of it happens in a quiet, silent transmission. And that silent transmission is the rescue. Is the rescue from the
Means
hypnosis of the Maya.
if the love, peace, and joy is not being felt, does that mean the transformation is not happening?
Ulta, just the ulta. So what I'm saying is that because 99% of the time we won't even realize what is happening. You see, it is just that 1% where we feel like, oh, there's so much love I'm feeling, there's bliss, there's peace, all of that. You see, so the indication of the transformation is also to be met with faith. Yeah.
Speaking this for a few satsangs, but like you said, that there is no way for us to know of what is happening, say in prayer. In a way, like majority of what's happening is silent, and God only knows what He's doing. So there is no way for us to know. I don't disagree about how the prayer went. That I clear. It's very clear that there is no marker for that. But I know in my heart, I know that there is a deepening happening.
Yes.
I know. So, but this is not based on any food
Exactly.
given by God for me to taste.
It's not based on any phenomenal evidence.
No, but I know.
Exactly.
But this knowing is also not because I don't know what silent transmission is happening. I don't know that. It can come out time to time. But there is a way for me to know that there is a progress, progress not in the mental way, but I know not a progress, but a deepening happening in God. I don't know why I'm saying it, because when you say that there is no way for you to know, then what are you saying?
So you're absolutely right that the only our heart knows how our heart is, whether our heart is growing in God's love, God's light. No? Now, 90% of what I'm saying is about our traditional modes of knowledge. Okay, I prayed for 2 hours and this happened. I prayed for 2 hours and my business deal that I wanted to make for so many months came through. I prayed for 2 hours and my whole day went peacefully. My boss didn't shout at me. You see, I prayed for 2 hours and my wife was very happy with me today. You see, I prayed for 2 hours and I felt so much love. I prayed for 2 hours and then I felt so much peace. Most of the time, that kind of evidence will not be available for us to be able to tell that our prayer was good. In fact, if that expectation is there, many times I feel like, but I prayed 2 hours, why is this still happening to me? The mind, Maya will use that to trap us again. So does that mean that there is no transformation really happening? Does that mean that it is just all made up stuff? You see? No. So that's what I'm saying, that in satsang, what happens is most of you experience that it's only 1% in the words. And you will say, something happens to me when I come to satsang, but I don't know what that is. You see? So in the construct, in the traditional construct of knowing thing, there's no way that we can really know what happened. Like after, many times after coming to many satsang, I sometimes ask someone, they say, what have you heard in the last 10 satsang that you've been here? And they will say something which is completely the opposite of what I've said. No? So, and yet they feel like I just want to be here. So there must be something besides the conceptual understanding. And that is exactly what happens in the heart transmission. You see? Now, how much do we rely on that heart transmission as the source of our truth? And the more we rely on that, the more we will be completely reassured that such auspiciousness is unfolding in our lives. So you're right about that. But you will not be able to pinpoint and say, today, because of my 2 hours of prayer, I was able to forgive this one who I held a grievance with for so long. Today, I was able to drop my resentment towards something today because of prayer. You see, we're not able to say that. Yet a week later, you feel like, I don't hate that one. You see? I don't have any problem with that one. And your friend may say, but 10 days ago we spoke and you were just like, I want to kill that one. You see? So how did it change? You see? So where did all that anger go? Where did all the grievance go? Where did all the resentment? So at that level, we can never know that this prayer session made me lose that. You see? This made me drop my anger, drop my grievances, drop my irritation about this. So in that way, we add more.
Father, when you said about praying fearlessly,
Yeah.
without fear, it's like you're saying that to pray with my whole being in God's presence, right?
Because prayer is not just merely making a petition, God, please solve this for me or help me with this.
No,
I'm saying that true prayer is when we take all our faculties and we offer them to Him. You see?
so
That is prayer.
Father, sometimes what happens is when there's a lot of struggle and I'm praying, I console myself saying, but I'm putting my best foot forward because in this capacity, this is all that I can do. But somewhere then that is.
Yes, but what is the source of truth of that? Is your heart saying that? Is your Atma saying this is it? You see? So those of us who've been in satsang can have a very direct conversation about this. No? Those who are new may say, but how do I know it's my Atma or my head? But those who've been here know that the way God's presence guides us, the Holy Spirit guides us, the Atma guides us. We are able to tell the texture of that guidance, isn't it? So when it is saying that, no, I have put my best foot forward, in the tonality of the expression itself, I can tell it does not have the fragrance of God's light. So then if we rely on the report of the con artist itself to be free from the con, then how is it?
Because otherwise the mind can use this only to say that, but you're not like, I have to rely on my heart to say whether I've put my best.
So the thief picks up the stone and throws it over there. You see? And our job is to catch the thief. And you say, but the sound is coming from there, I'm going to go there. But what is the source of that sound? It's the thief only, no? Yeah. All of us. Because
the lane is too narrow.
The gully hai sakri. If you just remember this simple construct, Rahimji told us, Kabirji told us, all of them told us the same thing, that Rahima gali hai sakri. अगर मैं तो वो नहीं, अगर वो तो मैं नहीं. There is no room for two on this lane of love.
Then, Father, no matter what is appearing is willingly and lovingly embraced in His will, right?
Yes. Yes. Or in the embracing of Him, all of this is willingly accepted.
Both ways, no, Father?
Both ways. You see, but in my eyes, at this moment, it seems like run to the beloved, the rest will happen. Huh? Instead of trying to say like that and then run to the beloved. Run to the beloved and the rest will happen.
Mm.
What do you think we can do? Mostly? Well, they can. I was talking about some children who came to Satsang right when we started sharing. Yeah, yeah, when we run to God, yes, story cannot survive. It'll lose all legs to stand on. Yeah. Take any story. Why was he so rude to me today? And you feel that you're getting the antardarshan of that unperceivable light in your heart. What are you going to do with that? You won't have any desire to hang on to who was rude, what is happening in the world. All that is lost in the wonder of his presence. And his presence doesn't mean that we have to be Atmagyanis, Atmadarshanis to be able to say, now I can lose the world. No, just waiting at his door, we lose interest in our grievances, our resentments, our pride.
Father, before you used to tell us that there's no past.
Yes.
And in the hypnosis or in that moment.
Before I used to say there's no past.
No, that you used to you used to say that a lot. Okay, I'm just remembering.
Sorry.
In that hypnosis, in that moment when we're going with the mind, it strings up everything from the past and it pulls it into just this moment.
Yes. Because what will it say about now? It's the mind narrative depends on the past and future. Tell me something about now, right now, this moment. Tell me.
So in the moment, there's no trouble. It's strung all the things from the past.
Yes. There's no such thing as trouble or no trouble in this moment. Tell me now what is happening. Don't say I know this. Tell me right now what's happening. It's good practice.
What's happening where?
Right now, what is happening? Now tell me, what is this?
Can't say everything that.
Can't say, because if you use a label like Satsang is happening, Ananta is sharing, have we captured reality in that construct?
So we can never say what's happening.
Exactly. Not like we used to keep saying, not one ray of light have we captured, not one color, not one shade. So even the perceptual world we have not captured in the notion. And yet we live our life as if our stories have captured our lives.
So everything that we perceive is just false, or?
No, I'm saying for the moment, even if you take it to be true, so suppose for a moment that all this perception is true. Which part of that did your construct capture? Not
Just
even the tiniest bit of it. Not even the tiniest bit of it. And we feel like we can string our whole life into a story.
Hmm.
You see, for 5 years this has been happening. Really, what is happening in this moment? You see? And why is it so unstable to be able to answer what is happening in this moment? Is because we leave the elephant out of the room. Because somewhere you know that all this in front of me is not all there is in this moment. This question confuses your mind a lot, but you know in your heart, there is not just this. So when I ask you, is it only perception here right now? Yeah, that's all I perceive. I say, I know that's all you perceive, but is that all that is here? I know we are straddling many levels at the same time, but it's good. Is the realm of perception all that is here right now?
No.
What else is here?
All of reality is actually here. And
What is that? God's presence is left out. That which is aware of God's presence, which is the Nirguna Brahman, is left out. No story includes the fact that Nirguna and Saguna Brahman were here and then he was rude to me. There's any story here? You see. So when we give only that reality, then that reality is lost. It's a fact, no? You see. So when we give that so much reality, the true reality is lost. And when we go to the true reality, that doesn't matter.
That's what you're saying, that we are, Ramji is here and we are not even.
Exactly. You see, because this is seeming more real right now. And what our faith is telling us is seeming more distant, is seeming more obscure, is seeming conceptual. You see? You see? So our growth in our spirituality is when we learn to live in that presence, with his presence, loving him. And then in his light, we see that our reality is that sheer oneness with him. Whether you call that a union or a recognition that I am that those words don't matter.
Can I just expose something? When
Please.
you're saying this, what's happening over here is that it's actually quite humbling, because somewhere I felt like I was living there, and then this huge kind of hypnosis clouded everything, and I feel like I had such a big fall, and it's humbling, but it's also quite scary.
Yeah. That is why all the sages live in such humility. Let me say, all the traditional sages used to live in such humility. You see? Because they never felt like they are on top of a perch where they cannot fall from. You see? It is God's grace. One moment of recognition happens only by God's grace. We may have a conceptual idea that I am that, but when trouble comes, then that conceptual idea doesn't help anything. It only makes it worse even. Unless it's a pointer to look. You see, but many of us, after spiritual insight, start making knowledge out of it in our heads. Not that you're doing that. I'm saying that that is the propensity which I'm trying to avoid in all of you. That if your insight is true right now, then what is this story of the me which seems too important? Both can't be true at the same time. You see? Both can't be true at the same time.
अब रही मन मुश्किल पड़ी गाढ़े दो काम
गाड़ी
गाढ़े दोनों
गाड़ी
दो काम
हाँ
झूठे तो साचे तो
putting too much pressure.
अब अब रही मुश्किल पड़ी गाढ़े दो काम साचे तो जग नहीं झूठे मिले न राम.
Okay, tell us this translation. Although it sounded beautiful, just the words of it.
Yeah, I mean, it means like Rahim is saying, like, now it's the difficult point. I have arrived somewhere, because if I be truthful, I will not get the world. I will fail in the world. But if I be if I have the hypocrisy or stay in the falsehood, then I will not get the Rama. So now I need to make the decision where I want, what I want.
Beautiful. Yeah, there comes a point where you have to pick God or me. Every moment is that. Every moment. That's why remember that the battlefield is, what's at stake in the battlefield is time. You see? So that's why Kabirji's Doha was not about homework. काल करे सो आज कर, आज करे सो अब पल में परले होएगी, बहुरी करेगा कब. It's a very, very important point, which I'm realizing the value of more and more as I'm getting older. That the point is that day after day, day after day, day after day, Maya offers us some things, and we feel like it is justified, it is rational to not live in God's presence today. Because today this happened, today that happened, today this happened. And soon, like the last 50, almost 51 years have gone, like a blink of an eye. The remaining 10, 20, 30, 40 years will go in the blink of an eye. And then Kabirji's doha of O man मूर्ख जन्म गवायो. Why he said like that? Because that's what you saw all around him. You see? That's what we see all around us. Everyone running on a treadmill going nowhere, where the compass of the heart is not set at all. What is this life really for? What is our very design? Who are we in reality? You see? And yet when the drama comes, so real, so important. Huh? Huh?
Today, now, really clearly, I just took your offer like a child when you said, just love him. You know, it was an impossibility today. My head was hurting, everything is feeling all buzzy. I saw how kind God is, that He is so kind. Like He He's just so kind. You know, calls you and he allows you to approach him in whatever construct, like you've been saying. I was seeing it so, and how even if Maya is strong, if I go to him, he is he's gonna pull me up if I just went to him, and there's no place for despair, there's no place for, like, everything is so literal. Gir gaye ho to uth jao.
Absolutely. These
It's
sages
too
were able to put such complicated things in such simple language, but that got pros and cons. The pro is that you can just meet it so easily. The con is that when it's too simple, no, our modern mind thinks that it's worthless. You see? So what is gir gaye ho to uth jao? Anybody can say gir gaye ho to uth jao. Yeah, it means if you've fallen down, get up. You see? So Bhaiji said, no? Hanuman Poddharji said, if you've fallen down, then get up. It's a very powerful pointer. Don't waste time on thinking about why I fell, what did this happen, God doesn't love me, all this stuff. Just get up.
Even Ramakrishna to the mother that picked me up, say to the mother, but it's not a dramatic, it doesn't have to be in that.
Yeah.
Crying
Have
is
to be
not,
Shakespearean.
and crying is not in tears only, it's a cry of the heart. Father, this that the Sufis say that God is our beloved, it just has been stuck with me. And Father, now I, like, when I return home like this, I feel like his he like I feel like that the beloved is upon me,
Yeah.
like how trouble is upon me.
Mhm.
Like that, when it switches, it feels like the beloved himself is upon us.
And you know something even more astounding is that the Lord is the Shabri in our story. He is the Shabri in my story. He is waiting for me 51 years. अब तो आएगा ये बच्चा, पता नहीं कब आएगा. You see? So there's something to learn even on the other side. The Atma is never saying, oh, you didn't turn to me 51 years, now go away. Waiting. Huh? Most forgiving, most gracious, most merciful. So in our force fieldification of God, we've forgotten His mercy, His love, His patience, His kindness.
Father, it really feels like Father, my Father looks at me. Father is with me. All it needs is to turn and slowly make you leave the world. It's quite something.
Our Holy Father is with us in our heart.
It really feels like that. I mean, it's
He of whom Ram, Krishna, Jesus, all the prophets were expressions. He lives in our heart. Yes. You see? Although that pride may not look like fancy. You see? But the pride that मैं कुछ हूँ, that I am something, I am somebody. You see? Even though I may have, in the construct, I may have the notion that I am the most useless. It's still pride. Yes. That's why humility is called the main foundational virtue. Only in humility, kindness, love, compassion, love for our brothers and sisters, all that can come. The minute we start saying, no, I am this, I am that, I am either very right or very wrong, all of these things is a separation from God. But where is the joy that God is here? Uh-huh.
humility. Wouldn't it just be like,
But where is the joy that
it's
God
you,
is?
Father, I said so much.
Humility.
Humility is that I abandon myself. No, that's
Yes.
it's the first thing that I get rid of me.
And yet, it's the first thing and it's a lifelong project. Both are there. Yeah. I have some bad news for all of you, which is that once you come to even the slightest recognition of the nature of reality, Maya is going to fight. You see? Maya is not going to just be like, ah. So God Himself has designed Maya to be the most compelling, and God Himself in His incarnations, every time God came, has fallen into the trap of His own design. Then He had to remind Himself, or somebody had to remind Him. There's a beautiful scene of Ramji when Sita ji finally says, I had enough of this nonsense. So she says, I'm going to leave, I'm going to go back to the Dharti, my mother. So Ramji just loses all recognition of who he really is, what all this is about. And he says, now I'm going to destroy this whole world in my anger. I've had enough. I've done enough. I've taken enough for all of you people. Done with this. So he's really angry. So he's going to take out his arrow and he's going to just destroy all of creation. And Shivji and Brahmaji had to come and talk to him and say, what's happening? What's going on? So and he's not listening. He's like, no, I've done enough. I have taken so much for these people. They are so ungrateful. They see what they did to my Sita finally after all that I've done for them and she's done for them. No? So then Shivji has to make Ramji meditate and remember who he is. I'll send that scene to all of you if you want. So then Ramji meditates and sees that he is Narayan himself. You see? So he did self-inquiry. Who am I? And he sees that he is Narayan himself. And he saw that Sita Ma is safe as Lakshmi and she's waiting for him in Vaikunt. And then he sort of calmed down. You see? What is this? Is this just the story of the incarnation? It's our story. We have to come back to the recognition of who we are. What is this and who we are? What are we doing here? Thank you. Only God is Maya Rahit no matter what, but not Maya Rahit, apparently not Maya Rahit all the time when they have to taste the world. Like we can look at the story of Jesus in that moment of feeling forsaken. There are many lenses in which we can look at that, but it's also similar. No? That in the injustice, in his best friend, one of the disciples, one of the 12 disciples, forsaking him, selling him for some pieces of silver, basically, to be betrayed in that way and to be tortured in that way. If we look at it from this lens of what was that moment, Father, have you forsaken me, really about? I don't mind looking at it through that lens, that for that moment, even the Son of God, the incarnation of God, took Maya to be real.
Hearing you speak of so many who definitely move from the head to the heart, and we may call them all maybe at different levels and stages, or sage to holy, I don't know, all kinds of, like, but they're, at least let's say, their default position is very firmly, and they have a new address.
Yes.
And they may, as you've been describing, they may from time to time leave that and go into the other, and then, but they know their home, so they come back. Now that takes sometimes, and perhaps it takes less and less time as you move.
Perhaps.
But and if this is the truth for everyone on the journey, everyone who is in a human body, then there is no kind of tick mark that I've now reached this, or I'm now, and then there's so many terms like enlightened and free and enlightened and a sage and this and a God finally that you call yourself. But if it is all for all a journey, then surely the joy is in the journey, and Because when you speak of time running out and things like, I mean, it concerns my age, definitely. I start thinking,
Not so far.
no, but it's like, what is this time running out? Like, what is it that we are trying to complete? Because when I hear like everyone is on this path, they're getting closer, they're feeling that transformation, of course, happens. But is it? I just puzzle, because sometimes it's like this is the way it is, and then sometimes it's no, but we must like sit more hours, and we must endeavor, and we must. What are we? Why are we not like, if we, like? So I just don't know if you can speak to me for
Yeah, it's a
that.
tough one. It's a very good point also. What you mean. I feel like I'm nobody to determine what the sages were talking about, but I feel that ultimately it just boils down to who does our heart belong to. So just like we know when we are in love, then we know we are in love. There's no fear of what is going to happen when we are in love in that way. They say, na, pyar kiya to darna kya. So like that. So all these warnings from the sages, we come to a point of such a deep love for God that you feel like what he's going to do is going to be good for me only. I'm not. But the idea of time is very important. Like we can say, like we can be nuanced about it and say that I feel the light in my heart. I recognize that I am aware even of the presence. I have a love for God. I'm deepening in my time spent with Him, in my living in His light. So we can be very nuanced about it. But if you look at the human population as a whole, you see how many of our brothers and sisters have even turned towards Him, or even realize that the point of life is to turn towards Him. Like Anuja and I met when our hair was all black. Now her hair and my beard looks the same. Time goes like that. Where did it go? Who was that boy who met just had moved to Bangalore, just had started company, maybe 23, 24-year-old, 25-year-old. So what happened? What is that 25 years? Where did it go? And just to put it, because we are looking for practical tips mostly, is like, don't put off God for tomorrow. Because life is going to go that quickly. And don't underestimate the power of Maya. Because the minute you start to feel like you have some mastery over her, he says, I'll give you one slap. Okay, bhajan. Now that
Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam Chalo Chan Kanja Mukha Kar Kanja Pada Kanjarunam Kandar Bhaganita Amita Chavi जय जय अविनाशी सब घटवासी व्यापक परमानंदा अभिगत गोदीतम चरित पुनीतम माया रहित मुकुंदा जय लागी बिरागी अति अनुरागी विगत मोह मुनिवृत्ता निशिबासर ध्यावहि गुण गण गावहि जयति सच्चिदानंदा श्रुति शेषा ऋषय अशेषा जा कहूँ कोई नहीं जाना जेहि दीन पियारे बेग पुकारे प्रभु सुश्री भगवाना द्रवौ सुश्री भगवाना सृष्टि उपाई त्रिविध बनाई संग सहाय न दूजा जेहि दीन पिया पुकारे सुश्री भगवान
जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल। 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 जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, 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 जय जय राधा रमन बोल, जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल. हरि बोल, 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 मुझे जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, 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 जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, जय जय राधा रमन हरि बोल, जय जय राधा हरि बोल, जय जय राधा हरि बोल, जय जय
नंदलाला जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, हो कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला। कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, गोपाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, हो कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, हो कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, कृष्ण गोविंद गोविंद गोपाला, जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला, जय मुरली मनोहर नंदलाला। मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे, मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे, मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी श्यामा, मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे, मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे, मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे, मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे। मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी श्यामा। मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे। मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे। मोहे तो भरोसो है तेरो री किशोरी राधे। You can sing this non-stop.